Hi guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to my channel. It's Veroosh and I'm going to do a collective reading right now for you guys. This collective reading is an example of the individual readings you guys are about to get, and the readings are called Magic and Karma. And so essentially your reading for October and November, for now, the first reading, individual sign reading, will focus on magic happening in your life, what's active, what's being created. That will be available for everybody. And then the second part is going to be for members only, and that's going to be the karmic significance of what's going on. The members have been very, very patient with me for these readings. So for the reading that I'm about to do for you guys now, so I'll do it with the Oracle Tarot because it's a beautiful, colorful deck that brings in a lot of positivity. And then I'm going to use the Monera Tarot, which I can't actually show you. Let me show you a card, that's okay. A lot of these cards are very graphic, so I need to, there we go. Oh, well, no, that's too graphic. This one's okay. So, so here we go. The Eight of Earth. So the Monera Tarot will be the karmic significance. And then today I'm going to use this Mary L. Tarot to substitute. And then for members also, I'll use this deck to pull 3 extra cards with this deck. So what I thought was, rather than explaining the methodology of this over and over again as I do the signs, which is monotonous and boring, I'll just do one central reading, collective reading, to introduce the readings that are coming up. And as you guys know, I'll do them at random. So I'll take my cards and then I'll shuffle them up so that the order is completely random. And then I will do those readings in that order as it comes up. So today's reading is a collective reading. There's going to be 2 more signs that I put out. If I get to film more independent readings, like if I get to film more readings for every single sign, then I will put them for members only. So members always get sneak peeks here. So if you guys are interested in seeing stuff early, then please check it out. And over there I also have my Lilith readings. I do extra pick a cards. There's a really cool reading sitting in the members only section ready to get published for everybody. So it's just a way that, you know, give them as much as I can for the generosity and the friendship that they show me by being members. So right now I'm going to do the Magic and Karma reading. This is a collective reading, so whoever watches it, this is for you. I'm not going to use the Monera Tarot because it's kind of too harsh, but it's okay for members section. So it's one of my favorite decks, but it's a little bit too graphic, and I thought for Karma it would be an appropriate deck to use because it has very strong sexual imagery, and that is really to do with our subconscious. So if you want to think about things in Freudian ways or any kind of way, the subconscious is closely tied to sexuality, and so therefore I think that it's going to resonate nicely. Okay, so nice, light, and bright for everybody. Let's see, for whoever's watching, this is a collective reading for the kind of energies, magic that's coming into your life over the next 2 months, 60 days. Okay, so we have first 3 of Swords. Oh no. So unexpected revelation, it's called. I do feel as though you have been hurt quite a lot by circumstances, or it's been a tough year for everyone. So I think that there's a lot of unaddressed feelings and circumstances that are ruling us. We have the 7 of Cups here in the second position, and we have the 7 of Swords. So I feel as though it's been easy to avoid the issue at hand. However, avoidance has the ability of building things up against us. There's also this kind of energy of the consequence of stepping away and being avoidant out of situations, and how that sort of has its own consequences. So someone said to me, I mentioned this in today's reading, about how someone left this comment about narcissism, and she was asking me, her partner was extremely abusive and narcissist, and she said, oh, Veroosh, like, what's his karma? It seems like he's won. It seems like this and that. And I'm like, being the narcissist is the karma. And I really want to say that again and again, because I always thought that, but when I said it, it was like it really hit the nail on the head. Don't ever think that people, narcissists, are gaining advantage ahead of you. But likewise, here in the Seven of Swords, it suggests that there's been avoidance of issues. So whatever you're not doing, whatever you're not facing, that's building up. And through this time, I feel like you're being prompted to face those issues, rise above them. You have possibly untrustworthy friends because you're sugarcoating things, so you're not looking at things. You have a broken heart underneath the surface. And I think that you have a way of getting yourself out of situations, but the consequence of that is that you're always running. And then the reverb from that, the mirror effect, is that they're always running from you. So it's kind of ended up being a very frantic time in your life where all these external factors are pressuring us, coming in on us, and we as individuals and collectively feel bamboozled by this energy. I have a quote to show you guys since it's a collective. So I think what I was inspired by most was a quote by Carl Sagan, who is a very famous and probably one of like the preeminent physicists of our time. So I put the quote on Twitter if you want to read it yourself, but let me read it for you right now. So I said, one of the saddest lessons, he said, sorry, one of the saddest lessons of history is this: if we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It's simply too painful to acknowledge, even to ourselves, that we've been taken. Once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back. And that's a very, very powerful quote to sit with and think about what's going on in the world and the kind of people that we're interacting with. And so I feel like the magic of the current time is you have an opportunity to escape that trap. And so I think that you need to really face the music on some things that you're being avoidant towards collectively. And Carl Sagan was right. It's a very, covert thing that has spun you around. And what you need to do with this energy, I feel, is settle down. Settle down your energy and know what you already know, what is what. So now it's up to you to make some choices to bring clarity to the issue. We have the Capricorn energy bondage, and so issues of control and freedom. And so I feel as here you're motivated to transform your life. So you're motivated and you have the ability, because that motivation has been with us for a while. I think people are waking up, and I think you are really understanding things, but I feel like God is stepping in. So that's the mercy of the energy. That is the good grace of the energy. It's kind of like a teacher who gives you an extra week for an assignment you're late on. It's that mercy of the energy that wants to help in finding your freedom. It wants to emancipate your energy with you. So we have the star over here. There's an Aquarian energy that's very, very fortunate around you, that's giving you a lot of strength. And turn to Aquarians, possibly, or your soulmate. So whoever it is, whether you know them or not, whoever resonates. When I say you don't know them, it's like maybe somebody on YouTube or social media that resonates for you a lot. Or an Aquarian person, maybe you know them, maybe not, it doesn't matter. But through them, messages will come for you at this time to light the way, to give you light in the darkness, light as a solution to the trapped feelings you have. At the center is the Magician. I pulled these cards together, and this is a very beautiful position, which is completely to do with empowerment. So you're fully empowered within this energy to do with it what you will. You're no longer being subject to this gaslighting, and it's a whole, what Carl Sagan was talking about was like a systemic gaslighting. I said something about this today in live as well that I want to bring up again. When you see on media a ton of people talking about narcissism, a ton of people talking about gaslighting, a lot of that has to do with not the individual things that they're talking about. We're collectively waking up and realizing that those things are happening. And as we are adults, most of us are adults watching this, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I really want to push this forward, how easy it is for us to change the path. We're believing and feeding into something, and we feel trapped by our history and the things that happened before us, the status quo. But it really is possible. If we agree to change, we can change right now. And that's true for you as well. Whatever circumstances. See, this isn't telling me that you're sitting around sad. This is telling me that inside you're sad while you're living your life as if everything's fine and happy. But you keep on hitting the wall because the inside part is sad and unaddressed. And so there's friends around you who are willing to step in and help. You have a lot of power, and I think that God or the universe or whatever you conceive, higher powers or spirit or just luck, is in your favor to emancipate and help with freedom. Now, I feel as though for you, the importance, the Seven of Wands, is to stick up for yourself. Stick up for what you believe in, stick up, for what you are deeming yourself to be true. There's much more energy there in order to move forward than you assume. Okay, so just believe that you can do it, and this is how you will find success and victory. You will find success and victory by being strong, by not backing down, by being very truthful. I got a lot of flack on Twitter for saying certain things, but I really believe them to be true. And it's not even my opinion. I feel like it's an objective observation of what's going on, but people don't want to hear it. And you need to be prepared to speak your truth in a way that may make people around you uncomfortable, because they're facing cognitive dissonance as well. They're facing avoidance, and cognitive dissonance is frustration at having a truth pointed out that they're not willing to accept, or that's otherwise triggering for them. So by doing you're gonna in some way ruffle the feathers of the people you've enabled to be in your life, through superficialities that you've participated in. And you've been participating in that. I'm not blaming you, because you have an unaddressed hurt. And most of the time, those unaddressed hurts have to do with people shutting you down at some point in time, telling you you don't have a right to feel that way. Okay? And then we have the Five of Cups. Yeah, I think that expect to disappoint people around you. Expect people to have a reaction that may be discouraging or negative. And so when you see that happen, it means you're changing your path, and someone who was aligned with you when you weren't doing the best for yourself is now no longer in alignment, And then we have the next. So the whole thing has to do with your heart. The whole thing has to do with your mind and your subconscious being. And so you very much need to get clear on what you are doing. You have to get very much clear on fairness towards your heart and genuineness and altruism. Just a murder of crows is just flying around me. That's really, really intimidating. Like there's probably 100 crows. That's okay. Okay, so anyway, it's all about setting your heart to a fair level, and the greatest injustice to yourself and to your environment is not allowing your heart to have fairness onto itself, because then you are projecting onto your environment and into your life, everything that you interact with, those kinds of negativity. So you're it's like building something with holes in it, or it breaking down because your issues are not fully addressed, right? So be prepared to let some people go at this time. Be prepared not to even just let people go. It's not saying that really, but be prepared to hear disparaging comments, or maybe even just attitudes. So many times in real life, people don't even say anything, right? You just get cold-shouldered. So if that's happening, be strong through it. You're ruffling some feathers. And then we have the outcome is releasing the past, which is death, change, and transformation. So you're able to release the broken heart. You're able to release the gaslighting. You're able to release how you were, bad things happen to good people. That's how I feel about this reading. And I feel like you've been living with the consequences of bad things happening to you. And so Don't feel guilty about it, but recognize how it's affected your life and how you've made certain choices, and allow yourself to like hold on. Like imagine a big storm and hugging a tree, and then like holding on for dear life so that it doesn't blow you away. So that's going to be the first reading for everyone. If you watch this reading is for you. So it's a collective reading. And now let me give you an example of what the karmic significance will be. For the purpose of it being like look nicer, I'm actually going to do this with a clear table for the second part. And I'm not going to show you the Manera cards here because they're too much, you know. They're too hot for YouTube. Okay. Members only section. All right. So let's see what the energy is, what the karma of this is. So setting yourself free. And like I said, if you watch this video, this is for you. So it's a collective. Whoever connects with this, you know, it is a message for you. Okay. So we have the Hanged Man. So expect delays in your life. And then we have the Death card. Okay. So I feel as though someone from the past had taught you about, you've lived vicariously through somebody else's path. You saw somebody struggle in a very similar dynamic, a friend or someone that you knew more intimately or privately about, and you saw them trapped in like an external world order that was suffocating them. And I feel like it's time for, like, it really, the karma of this is that you really need to change your mind on some things. You need to really change how you think about things. You need to change how you approach things, what you believe to be true, what you believe to be not. You just need to change your mind. It's like, basically, I really align it with, I moved from a socialist system from Poland, a communist system. And you have to change your mind when you move to like a capitalist open economy. You have to think about things. You don't have to, but that's what happens. You just change your mind. And it's, maybe that's a bad example, but essentially, in order to participate in what's moving forward, you have to think about things differently. You know, your conceptualization of women, your conceptualization of men, races, you have to be willing to change at this time, and life is giving you an opportunity to take your time with that. The next energy is the Queen of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, secondary transits in water as well. There's someone who has a lot of sincere beauty, a lot of love that is outpouring for you, a lot of compassion. This really connects me to a friend of mine who's a Scorpio. She's a social worker, and I know a lot of social workers. I worked in social work as well. And one thing about social work is that there's a lot of really bad social workers, okay? There's like 80% bad ones and 20% amazing ones. And the amazing ones, what I find the connecting point between them is that there's this level of tolerance and compassion in how they think about situations. So no matter what situation, and I worked in pretty extreme settings, like working with criminals, like full-on murderers and that kind of extreme behaviors. And so there were situations in which I couldn't find compassion for certain people for the things they chose to do and how they were. And these people, in a rational way, understood how and why and things like that. So someone like that is in your life and bringing to it understanding, compassion, and mercy. And it's like, it's not about being an altruist. It's not about being a good person. It's about fundamentally like understanding the mechanics of how things happen or why things happen, and without removing accountability for actions, still maintaining compassion and understanding, and still wanting somebody to thrive. So it's a very, very holistic perspective. So there's a person and energy around you that is going to facilitate that. You're going to receive a lot of compassion from people. And then we have this guy, the King of Pentacles. So what's mirroring from the past is disinterest and coldness and indifference. which means that probably it goes right back down to the root where you were hurt and somebody didn't listen. You were hurt and somebody judged you so they could enjoy their apple. You know, somebody wasn't paying attention to what happened. And the reverb from that keeps coming up, is that once again you feel you try to break away and change, and once again that give from others tends to be blocked. That's a very, very powerful message, right? So whether it's one person around you, a masculine figure, possibly a female, or possibly an earth sign, but that's not really about it. They just look over you and your problems, and you're trying to move forward, and you need to emotionally understand how that's abuse as well. When somebody's neglecting you, when somebody's turning a blind eye to your problems, when somebody's patronizing you and saying, you know, it's not so bad, why are you getting upset? All those kinds of dismissive energies. They may not be saying anything bad in and of itself, but they're doing it because they are not bothered, and that's the abandonment, that's the neglect. And so I feel like you need to face that. You not face that in the sense that you have to tell them off. You need to see for yourself how it's neglect. You can't, I think you're still blaming or shaming yourself for the things they said. So they've got toxicity in your mind because they were eating a freaking apple. They were busy with themselves and they weren't bothered to give you that care and consideration. And that really contributed to the follow of whatever hurt or heartache you faced. And so this King of Pentacles, King of Discs, is going to in some way show up in one aspect of your life. It might not be a person, it might be a situation. But I feel like you very much need to get away, you know, from, it's not get away, realize that it's horseshit, realize that it's not productive. Okay, and then we have the Chariot card. This is so beautiful. This is very powerful combination, the Chariot and the Magician. So this is really about overcoming. This is about rising up. This is about transcendence and growth, and this is about getting better. So this is recognizing that this person, or this situation, like the previous experience, did not support you. That's not right. And I think that you're carrying a burden and shame because you feel like in some way it is right, and it's not. So this is coming to terms with things. This is welcoming in caring and nurturing energy from somebody who wants to show you love. This is someone who sees beyond the structure and the form and sees the principle behind it. But you have to give time for everything to turn out. Okay? And then we have you in the situation, Four of Cups. So this is very, very small steps. Small steps towards where you are going. Small advancement. You don't have to rush it. Everything will work out very, very well. The coldness and the indifference of others is being turned to change by compassion and understanding. And then we have the next message, which is the Four of Wands. I like the 2 fours over here. So I feel as though communicating in warmth, slow down your role, like slow down the environments that you're in. Minimize the amount of influence and distractions around you. Now let's see the next card. We have the Last Judgment, which is, so in some way your soul and your mind needs to see these things as being true. For some reason, it feels like it's like that internal deep forgiveness towards yourself for welcoming in hate or welcoming in something that hurt you. A lot of people who are victimized as children, they really struggle with victimization and blaming themselves for welcoming it, for liking it, for being fooled, you know, those kinds of things. And until their heart and their mind really comes to realize that it's not about, how do you say, it's not about like how do you say, it's not about it's not about, what's the word, it's not about being so weak so that you were conned. It's not like that. It's the choice to be dishonest has a resonance, and has a resonance that is toxic and unhealthy, and it does not separate that from your experience of truth and genuineness. So if you were victimized, and I feel like this is all about victimization, if you were victimized in some way, it's not like your inability or your shame or something like that for having experienced it. It's completely on the other party, and it has nothing to do with skill or ability or anything like that. So many people come to me for astrology readings and they're like, what's in my chart that's causing this to happen over and over again? Like, what did I do wrong? It's like, yes, there's things in the chart that can point to a certain resonance of experience, but in terms of what you did wrong, it has nothing to do with that. Like, it has to do with them, and it has to do with how they work, and they're like forces. It's ironic, but it's kind of like forces that are beyond you, and so yeah, and it's a slippery slope sometimes, that when it happens once, then it can happen again and again. And people who do dishonest things are optimized to figure those kinds of things out. So, and it's not something we're taught to deal with early on in our lives. So wherever this happened in your life, this crappery, this fakeness, I feel like you need to separate your heart from feeling attachment to it, right? Feeling any kind of, yeah. And then we have the Tower. Holy crap. Okay, I didn't experience this. I didn't expect this, which is the Mars. That was a Freudian slip. But the Tower is representative of a fundamental change and transformation. So it's like a shocking transformation, a shocking different direction. I'm trying to find some cards that I can read for you guys that I haven't opened. I want to show you guys the three. Here, I'll use this deck because I really can't use the Monera here. So let's see. And then in the Karma section for members, I'll also pick 3 cards. So you guys are going to get, we have the World, and then we have the Sun, and then we have the base chakra or the root chakra. It's very likely for whoever's watching that a lot's going to change for you in the next 2 months, or at least things will begin to change. It feels as though a lot of good is coming in for you and a lot of emancipation. This base chakra to me tells me that there's a fundamental shift in your life. When you're no longer positioned underneath the subservience of indifference or whatever has happened to you, then your outside world changes, right? Because you're no longer attached to what happened. You're no longer resonating with what happened, and you need to give it time. You need to allow that shift to happen towards the direction you're meant to be in. So I hope you guys like this reading. It's a little taste test. We'll call this the taste test. You know, it's a little taste test for your readings for the next 60 days. I'll be doing lots of different readings, but when we do a special like this, then I'll give probably an intro. Let me know how you guys like this kind of reading in the description. Like, do you like one core reading and then collective reading, and then we'll branch out and do individual readings? It's a way for me to avoid doing all the talking to all the signs, which I find incredibly mind-numbing, and I hate that as a part of the job. So I want to keep all videos independent and genuine, and I don't want to sound like a robot or feel like a robot. So anyway, this was like completely profound, right? I was feeling the resonance. I was feeling like the cards were calling me out. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Again, members, I love you guys so much for having my back through everything. It's just, I feel like we share in really great energy together, and you know, I'll do my best by you all the time. So that's what gets me through some difficult days. I'm like, you guys are awesome. And if you're not a non-member, I fully appreciate you. Everybody who's putting effort or watching the videos, it's just such a humbling process. And you know, seeking the path of authenticity, or trying to maintain the path of authenticity. Or yeah, just being genuine through everything. So this is your October, November spreads. There'll be more, but this is specifically the magic and the karma of the next 2 months. And I hope that helps, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk with y'all soon. Oh, hold on. What else do I want to say? Okay, so a couple other things that I'll mention. The videos when I do live have commercials on them. Because it's the election, some of you guys are seeing a lot of political campaigns. For a time being, after I post the video, I don't have control over how many commercials are going to be shown. So if you're watching right away and you see like 20 commercials, come back to the video and watch it later. Within half an hour, I'll update it to like 3 or 4 commercials, which is reasonable for an hour or 2-hour video. And I also don't ever get a choice as to who is paying for a video. So if you're getting political ads, I'm nonpartisan, I'm not American, and I wish you guys all the best with that election. That's all I have to say about that. The other thing is I'm doing the New Year reading, and I keep on forgetting to tell you guys about it. I mentioned it in today's daily, but there's a problem with the shopping cart, and so we're waiting for them to fix it. There's a major problem with the shopping cart feature, so I'm not able to actually sell you guys anything. If you guys want a reading, go onto today's weekly October 5th onward video, or here, leave me a comment down below that you want to buy that reading, and that way I can honor your spot, because there is January 15th cutoff, and then I'll open it up to a little bit later than that. So if you want to get in on the January 15th cutoff, let me know right now so I can manage the volume of sales, right? The volume of people wanting a reading. Okay, that's all I have to say. Sorry guys, it's a lot of information, but I hope you like this. Let me know how you feel about it, if you like it or not, and good luck with your glow up, whatever it is. It's big. So this is actually really good. There's a shift and transformation. Just give it some time. It has to do with how you relate to people not giving you attention when you needed it, okay, in a fair and just manner. And that's why it's reverbing all over your life. So a lot of people are living out there without their needs met. So that's essentially what this is. Stop feeling bad about it and go live your life. Okay, thank you. Bye.